Our lead story, and Governor Ron DeSantis today responding to the possible indictment of former President Donald Trump. During a news conference today, the governor took swings at both the New York prosecutor pursuing the case and Donald Trump himself. Capitol reporter Forrest Saunders joining us live tonight from Tallahassee. Forrest, DeSantis walking both sides of this one today, but clearly taking a dig at the former president.
Yeah, and of course the context of all of this, the background here is that Governor Ron DeSantis may soon be announcing a run for the White House. But during that Panhandle press conference earlier today, it looked like he was trying to eat his cake and have it too. Take a listen.
The Manhattan District Attorney is a Soros-funded prosecutor.
Governor Ron DeSantis Monday, one of the latest Republicans to comment on former President Donald Trump's suspected Tuesday indictment for alleged hush money payments. DeSantis' line is similar to other GOP quotes, denouncing the DA, Alvin Bragg, as politically motivated.
He, like other Soros-funded prosecutors, they weaponize their office to impose a political agenda.
But then there was this.
And look, I don't know what goes into paying hush money to a porn star to secure silence over some type of alleged affair. I can't speak to that.
DeSantis went on to say he won't be getting involved in the case and called it a, quote, manufactured circus. Political experts told us DeSantis looks to be walking a tightrope, playing both sides, cautioning equivocating won't draw in the much-needed MAGA base if the governor seeks a presidential primary win.
It's great to be here in my home state of Florida.
Meanwhile, the former president had some words for the governor himself, posting this on Truth Social with an unconfirmed article. Quote, Ron DeSanctimonious will probably find out about false accusations and fake stories sometime in the near future as he gets older, wiser, and better known, when he's attacked by a woman, even classmates that are underage or possibly a man. I'm sure he will want to fight these misfits just like I do.
It is not a shock to me that Donald Trump would be facing possible indictment.
Democrats watching and reacting as the Trump-DeSantis dust-up looks more and more like a brawl. The House Minority Leader said Florida should keep its guard up after the former president on Saturday called for a protest of the indictment.
From what we saw on January 6th, his supporters don't mess around.
The new state Dem chair, Nikki Fried, however, seemed to relish the fight, posting not only the DeSantis dig, but this on Twitter. Quote, new campaign, who dis? Now, DeSantis also used that presser to tout his own ouster of a Florida state attorney. We are, of course, talking about Andrew Warren. Now, Warren did respond later in the day on Twitter using a Tennessee Williams quote. He said, quote, the only thing worse than a liar is a liar that's also a hypocrite. Paul?
All right, so as long as we're quoting Tennessee Williams, he also said time is the longest distance between two places, and there is a lot of time between now and the primaries in 2024, but the clock is ticking on DeSantis, making it official at some point that he's going to run for president. Does this Trump situation expedite that timing, or is this still on track for some time after the legislative session ends?
Well, what I can tell you is this. When we talk to political experts, what they say is look at what the legislature is doing this session. They're moving very fast. In fact, faster than I've seen them move in the last 4 years since I've started covering the Florida legislature. I mean, they are moving bills off the floor as fast as possible. And the thought here is that they're trying to give DeSantis an opportunity to take some of those big GOP red meat bills and do bill signings across the state of Florida to potentially drum up some victories before he makes a presidential launch, which we keep hearing could happen as soon as May. Paul?
Well, meanwhile, some Republicans now slamming Governor DeSantis for calling the war in Ukraine a, quote, territorial dispute and not a clear, vital national interest. That coming from New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu, who may run for president himself. As the governor weighs into these tricky waters on foreign policy, this is where he may find out that it's not always as simple as Democrat versus Republican.
Yeah, it's a big world. I mean, you've got leaders all across the globe who are either denouncing this or potentially standing by DeSantis. We'll have to see how this all unfolds. But what I can tell you is that DeSantis might see this as an opportunity to define himself in any presidential primaries that might be coming around the corner if he does happen to announce, because, of course, he is now taking a stance that has been denounced by a number of Republicans, including former Vice President Mike Pence. But this might paint DeSantis as an isolationist, as an America First politician, which, of course, is something that former President Donald Trump liked to call himself as well. Paul?
All right, Forrest Saunders live for us tonight from a very busy Tallahassee.